cookies left. I should eat another one just so it's an even number. We don't want to split a cookie. We need to have one each. So that's what I'll do. Here! Finally, took you long enough.
Look what I brought you, Sathena.
Oh boy.
I brought you a hat. I'm here to eat honey cookies. Oh, yummy, yummy. Wait a minute. Is that all Amy brought us? Was just 2 cookies?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean,
Oh.
towards the end of the day, there's probably not a lot left.
Well, that's
Still a lot
probably
of
true.
customers, so.
I guess that's what we get today, but I'm excited about the honey lemonade.
I know,
She's
it's
supposed
good.
to talk to us a little bit about bees today, because I don't know a lot about bees and honey and all that stuff.
I don't
So
either. Besides, honey's good.
yeah. Well, let's eat our cookies, all right?
Okay. I think I'm good. I'm full.
Do you not like honey cookies?
No, I think they're really good.
Why
Maybe I
did you not want any honey cookies, Sathena? Is there something I should know?
I ate too many cookies already.
Like how many cookies, Sathena?
There was only a few more, not too many.
12. How many?
Maybe 6.
Oh my gosh. Well, then this one's mine too.
Okay, that's probably for the best. Or else I'm gonna have a stomach ache.
That is not good of you to do that.
I'll just drink my lemonade.
Okay. All right. Well, wait. Oh boy, these are so good. Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoy them.
Yeah.
Hey girls!
Hi.
Hey,
How are the cookies?
Good.
I
They were
saw
really
your
good.
jacket. Let me see your jacket.
Oh, you want to see my coat?
Yes.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
see, let me see, let me see.
Show everybody.
I'm ready to roll with the beehive today. Woo!
Oh boy.
I'm so excited we got to come to the professor's today.
Oh, I'm
and
glad you came.
honey, I guess I was going to ask you, first off, where do bees live?
Oh, well, they live at my farm, and I think you guys should come. We'll just go there.
Really?
Yes.
You'd let
Yes.
us come
Let's
see?
just go see them for real.
In person.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Let's go. Can we wear a bee hat so we're
You
just
should
scared out?
wear your bee hat.
Yeah. Let's hope we don't get stung.
No, we have suits. We'll wear
Okay,
suits.
good. Good deal. All right, well, let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Hi everybody, welcome to Ag in the Classroom for Ellis and Trigo County. And as you can see, there are bees flying all around us. Sathena's in her full body garb here and coveralls, yeah, with her little face mask. And we're here with Mike Jensen. Looking behind us, you can see there's a bunch of hives with a whole bunch of bees. And Mike is a honey grower or bee grower. Not sure. What's the actual beekeeper?
Beekeeper.
He's a beekeeper, and we're making honey at the Jensen farm. So we're going to teach you all about honeybees today, and we hope you enjoy. We are at the honey hive of Amy and Mike Jensen, and I'm almost a little scared just because I don't know much about bees, and I feel them flying all around me. But Mike tells me I'm safe.
This is one of our apiaries where we keep our bees during the winter. Right now they're just coming out of the cold snap, and we're really happy that they're alive. The bees will get around the queen, and they actually will shiver and create heat, and they'll keep the queen anywhere from about 85 to 90 degrees all winter long.
Even though it was way cold out here, they kept the queen nice and warm.
And also the smell of the queen is what makes the bees communicate and just know that everything's good in the hive. Okay, all the other bees in the hive are worker bees, and they're females. And then you also have a male, which is a drone. Right now they don't have drones because in the fall they kick all the drones out because they don't want to feed them.
So if you're a boy bee, it's not a good life.
Yep. Then once springtime comes, they start making drones for reproduction.
Okay.
But also, and then once the drone goes out and mates with the queen, he dies.
So you said the worker bees are making these drones. How do they make a drone?
That's a good question. When the queen lays an egg, the bees can either turn it into a worker bee, a drone, or a queen, all off of one egg. And it all depends on what they feed. The eggs, more of them are worker bees than anything.
Right.
So like I'd say 80 to 90% of your hive is worker bees.
So the
They feed
worker
all-
bees
nurse bees, what they call them. Usually when a bee hatches, it takes 21 days for a worker bee to hatch. And once they hatch, they start cleaning other bees when they hatch. They all have different levels as they get older. Summertime, the life expectancy is 3 to 6 weeks.
Oh wow, so that's fast.
Yeah, in the wintertime they live up to 6 months.
Wow.
And that's because they're not actually out working, they're just trying to maintain and keep the queen alive.
Right, right.
And make it through winter.
And they eat honey during the winter.
Yep,
And then we get the honey from them so that we can eat it, right?
Yep, usually our honey production is in the summer when everything's blooming, but we always make sure the bees have anywhere from 70 to 90 pounds of honey for them.
Wow.
So a typical beehive will produce an average of 70 to 100 pounds of extra honey.
Right.
That's on a really good year.
And that's the honey you use to do the stuff at Professor's, where we got the delicious honey cookies that Sathena ate all of them, almost, and the honey lemonade was really, really good.
How do the bees carry the pollen back from the flower?
That's a good question. On their back legs of the worker bees, they have what they call pollen sacs. So they'll go out, and about each pollen grain that they can get into each sac, it takes about 250 flowers they'll visit. So when they come in with 2 loads of pollen on, they've visited 500 flowers just to get that.
So Mike, I see all these bees coming out. What's going on?
Okay, this right here is your normal beehive, which is 2 deep boxes. And this is the bottom board. And there's a little board in there, it's called an entrance reducer. We put them in the fall to try and keep the mice out of them. Inside each one of these deep boxes is 10 frames. Usually the bottom one is the brood. And then as it gets warmer in spring, she'll start laying up in the top. But during the winter time, this top box is full of about 80 to 90 pounds of honey. And during the winter, the bees will be in a big old egg-shaped ball around the queen, and they'll generate heat. And as winter progresses, they'll move up into that honey. And the heat from the bees will allow them to eat the honey and survive through the winter. There's another little board under there that you can't see. It's called an inner cover, and it goes on there, and it's got a little hole in the top, and it helps that moisture dissipate in the top. And if not, that the moisture will gather and just drop cold water on them and can actually freeze you.
These suits actually protect us from the bees, right?
Yes.
So how do they defend themselves?
When bees, like say if a mouse would crawl in there, they'll actually sting it to death, and then they'll cover it in what they call propolis, which is basically a bee glue that they gather from trees and other things. But like say if you went and cleaned that hive out and found that mouse in there, it'd look like a little candy bar with whiskers. So they actually, when the bees are in the hive, it's 100% sterile in there. So it's actually like an operating room. That's how clean they keep it. Right now, the numbers on the bees coming out of winter are usually about 15 to 20,000. Within about 2 months, this box will have about 50 to 60.
A lot of bees.
So when that happens, you kind of got to keep an eye on them. And then what we'll do is we'll order in some new queens, and we'll go into each one of our hives, and we'll take frames out, and we'll make an extra hive. And that's how what we call splits. So we do our splits in the spring, and that's how we gain back all the ones that we lost through the winter.
So in the spring, the bees go collect pollen from flowers, right?
Yep.
And they bring that back, and that makes the honey, or is there a different process?
No, actually they go out and they'll gather pollen,
Okay.
and they'll bring the pollen back, and they'll mix it with a little bit of nectar, and then that's what they make called bee bread. And they'll pack it in, and that's what they feed the larvae as they're developing. So they'll feed the larvae bee bread for about 7-9 days, and then they'll cap that, and that larvae will develop into a pupa, and then it'll develop into the bee.
Okay, Mike, so tell me how we're going to get how you get the honey out of these hives. I'm curious.
Okay, in the summertime, once our hives are ramped up, we'll put on boxes what are called supers.
Okay.
And that's what they look like. The reason behind these smaller boxes is the honey weighs 12 pounds to a gallon.
Oh,
So
okay.
one of these bigger boxes, I can barely carry.
Right.
So a lot of beekeepers are up in their age. Even these smaller boxes, they can hold about 40 pounds, 45
Wow,
pounds.
that's a lot.
Once summertime, once summertime gets to rolling, we'll put these supers on our hives. A lot of it, what helps is over the years, they build this comb for us.
Wow.
And we can use that comb forever if we take care of
That's interesting. So the bees built those little honeycombs.
it. Yep, they built that. And
Right in there.
and it takes about 20 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of wax.
Wow.
So if they're like, say, if they're filling this box, it's got new frames on it, they're putting new wax in it, it'll take roughly about 15 pounds of honey to convert into wax.
So the honeycomb is made out of wax.
Yep.
Right. Wow.
And then-
Now, I've heard of some people, do they eat the honeycomb or?
Yes, that's a good question.
Okay.
Different boxes, you can make what they call cut comb,
Okay.
or and what they are is they just have a thinner. These have more of a plastic insert in them,
Right.
but them will be just one piece of beeswax, and they draw it out, and then you just cut it in sections and put it in jars. Once that honey, what they'll do is once they get the honey in here, the nectar, they'll put nectar in it first. Well, then the bees will get on there and they'll use their wings to draw the moisture out.
Okay.
Then once they get the moisture the way they want it, they'll cap it. Well, for a beekeeper, when you open this box and look in there, you'll notice the honey's capped, so you know it's ready. So we'll pull these boxes off, and then we have a hot knife that will cut that wax, the cappings off, and then we have a big spinner, a centrifugal spinner we put it
Right.
in, and it just slings the honey out.
Oh, that's cool.
Harvesting honey is always better in the summertime when it's hot out, but you're also wearing one of these bee suits, and if you're in it for a couple hours, you can really
Gets pretty warm,
get
huh?
really pretty warm.
Well, I do have another question. I just thought about
Yes.
this by the bees. I see bees, you have multiple hives here. Does one bee belong to a certain hive, or can he go in any hive?
No, that's a good question also. These bees, they come out of this hive, they really won't go into another hive.
So that's their house.
Yep, and the other bees won't even let them in.
Really?
Yep.
So they can't even make a mistake and go in the wrong hive.
They'll get to fighting. A lot of it too coming out of winter. What we have going on over here too are buckets of substitute pollen,
Okay.
and we feed that to them just to kind of keep them busy. Because
Oh.
what'll happen when you got a bunch of bees in one area, a real strong hive could just start robbing. They
Oh.
rob other hives.
Oh,
So it can
really?
actually cause a domino effect.
So rob, what did you mean by rob?
They'll just start going into another hive and they'll overpower it because it's
Really?
weaker.
They just basically take it over.
Yep. And what
That's
they'll do is they'll
crazy.
go in and kill all the bees, what are left, and then they'll steal all the honey.
And then they will claim that hive as their own too.
No, they'll take
No?
it all back and they'll leave that hive empty.
Really?
Yeah.
I have learned so much about
Yeah.
bees. I also heard something else I thought was really interesting. Amy told me this, and it's kind of maybe TMI, but I heard that bees don't poop in their house.
Nope, they don't.
They don't poop in their house?
Nope.
Where do they poop when they
Uh,
can't go outside?
They'll hold it.
They hold it?
Yep.
You mean like during that really cold stuff?
Yep.
So for days and days and days?
Yep.
Holy smoke.
And I couldn't
That
wait.
is-
And I couldn't wait for it to get warm fast enough. Because a lot of what'll happen then too, is from them holding it for a prolonged period, you'll start to get. They'll get dysentery. And
Oh, they'll get sick.
They'll start getting sick.
So you wanted it to warm up so the bees could
Yep.
go outside and poop. Oh my gosh.
We never had them go through 30 below, so now we know they can actually handle it.
This is crazy. I know there's bees all over the place. I cannot believe that they lived through. That was so cold. You kids know that it was cold those days. We didn't have school for several days because it was so cold, but
Yeah.
well, holy smoke. I have learned so much about bees and really interesting things. thanks so much, Mike, for letting us come out. I can't tell you how much we appreciate it, and I know the kids have learned tons about honeybees today.
Yep.
And I got some honey cookies, and I got some honey lemonade, and it doesn't get any better than that. I'm telling you what, it's delicious stuff. So, thanks, kids. We're glad you came to the hive with us today to check out the honeybees at Jensen's farm, and make sure you have some honey. And we'll see you guys back at the office.
Welcome everyone. We're back here at the office to do your projects. Sathena and I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I learned probably of all the projects we've done, this is the one I've learned the most about. Yeah, I didn't know a lot about honey. I love honey, but I didn't know a lot about honeybees. So we hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're going to go over your projects real quick. And Sathena, it's your turn. Tell us what we're doing today.
Okay, so I'll start off with the younger kids. So preschool through 2nd grade, you guys are going to have a sheet like this, and you guys are going to make your own honeybee wrist puppet. So I'll show you guys how to do that in a little bit, and then you guys are going to get this worksheet, and you guys have to trace the words and make sure you know these words because they're very important. We talked about them quite a lot. And then you guys are going to cut off the bottom here and label the parts of the bee. And then you guys have a fun coloring worksheet on the back side of it too. And then 1st and 2nd graders have this worksheet, and it's a little bit harder because you have to fill in the words up top for yourself. And then same thing, cut out the parts of the bee and put them up here and label the bee correctly. And then older kids, 3rd through 6th graders, a little bit harder, but I think they can handle it. So we talked about the beehive and the bee box, so we'll talk about that in a little bit and I'll go over it. And then you guys have to label parts of a bee, but yours is maybe a little bit more in depth. And then you guys have a multiple choice worksheet on the back about pretty much everything that we talked about. So you guys just make sure you paid really good attention to the video.
And they have to rewind.
Yeah. And then you guys get a fun word search for when you guys are all done.
Very nice. And what kind of tools will they need to complete some of this stuff?
So obviously, you'll need a pencil, obviously, some scissors, tape. And I'll show you how to use a tape, and crayons and a glue stick.
Perfect. Perfect. So you're going to work on that, and I'm going to get us some honey ready. Oh, do you want to talk about that a little bit more? Okay,
so
go
I'll
for
go
it.
over this quick so you guys remember a little bit. So I'll help you out. So the outer cover and then inner cover, like we talked about, and then the extracting super, that's where the honey is. That's what Mike
I
said.
remember Mike talking about that, yeah.
So that's that part they put in the summer, and then they have a queen excluder here, and that's where the queen I think actually is. And then here's your brood chamber with all the larvae.
Yeah, that's where the larva would
and
stay,
then,
the eggs and the larva. That's where the babies are developing.
And then you have a bottom board just here, and then the hive stand at the very bottom. So that's pretty easy.
Okay.
And then this is maybe a little bit harder because it's a little bit more in depth. So you have the proboscis here, which is actually like their tongue. So that's what they use for slurping liquids and tasting. And then Mike talked about that their pollen basket, where they carry their pollen at, is actually on their back legs. And then obviously they have their antennas that they use for sensory information. Their eyes actually can detect color and movement. And then their thorax is actually their first part of their body, or the second part of their body behind their head. And that's where all their legs are. And their wings are actually attached to the thorax. And their abdomen here is where the special glands that produce bee wax that they use to form the hive, and that's also where the stinger is attached to on the female bee.
Cool.
So hopefully that helps you guys out.
Very good. Okay, and you're gonna do your project. Okay, well while you're doing that, I went and got us some delicious croissants. And I also got a honey bear from Amy down at Jensen's, or at Professor's. So we're gonna have some honey on our croissant. Do you have any reason, do you know why it's in the shape of the bear? Do you know why?
Because bears like honey?
Bears like honey.
Okay.
And something that I learned, I'm telling you, I learned so much on this project. Honeybees, if you wear dark clothes, they will actually come after you because they think you're a bear. That's why the outfits that we were wearing with Mike are white.
Okay.
Because they see dark colors as a predator, and the main predator is like bears and skunks and things like that. So Amy actually told us that skunks love honeybees, and they will sit outside of the hive and they will catch them in their mouths as they come out, and they can completely wipe out an entire hive if they're not careful. So Amy and Mike have to really watch for skunks at their place to make sure they don't kill
even
all
with
their...
the stingers too. They said they'll eat.
They'll eat them with the stingers. Exactly.
Exactly.
So one thing about the stingers, though, I did want to tell you guys, you know, we were in the suits to kind of keep us protected, but my hands and Sathena's hands were out, and Mike told us, he said, you know, honeybees are very gentle, and they actually don't want to sting you, because when a honeybee stings you, it dies. Did you know that? And so he said, just always be calm around bees, as long as you don't swing at them or do crazy things or wear dark clothes, obviously. They won't sting you. So when I was filming, I had my hands on the camera, and a bee came and landed on my hand and then didn't do anything. And I was fine. So I kind of got over a little bit of a fear by being out at the honeybee farm. So it was a lot of fun. And did you know that honey is the only food produced by an insect that human beings eat? The only thing.
Really?
So they're very unique. They are producing a naturally sweet product, so it replaces sugar in a lot of things, like the lovely honey cookies that we got have no sugar in them. They're all honey. So they're great. Honey is great for allergies too. So they say if you live in a certain area, you should be consuming honey made by bees in your area to help you combat allergens. So I tell you what, it was awesome. It was an awesome trip out to the farm. It was even a better trip to the restaurant, where we got to have some honey cookies and delicious honey lemonade, and got to wear our fun little... I should make you wear your fun little hat today. There you go. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and cut us some croissants up, and we're going to taste some honey on our croissants straight away. And you guys are going to get to try some honey too. So did you see what I got the kids? I got you guys honey sticks. Yeah. So for your snack today, there'll be a honey stick in your bag from your teacher. So, and they'll be totally delicious, I promise. So where are you at, and what do the kids need to be doing?
Okay. I'm gonna take this off before it falls off my head first. So here's what I got so far. It's your little wrist puppet. So you guys are gonna have 2 little short pipe cleaners, and there's gonna be holes in their heads, and you're gonna put them in for like antennas.
So there'll already be holes in their little heads. Yeah. So you'll be able to stick them in. Okay.
And then I put tape on the back of those so the pipe cleaners don't stick you a little bit, and then make sure they stay in place.
Perfect.
And then with your legs, see how their legs are crinkly? So you're gonna want to take one of your black leg stripes and just kind of fold it back and forth, so it'll be like...
So you kind of weave it like accordion style?
Yeah.
Okay, but after they color and cut it out and everything?
Yeah, they need to color everything first and then cut it out.
Perfect. So they'll need like black and yellow, or if you want to make your bee pink and black, or whatever you want to do, that's kind of a little bit different. Or you could do gold.
It'll be like that.
Okay, and then you're just going to glue that on there. Beautiful.
And glue everything to the back side of it,
so it doesn't show. And then, we're going to put a little wristlet thing on there, right?
So you're going to have a long pipe cleaner, and then you'll tape it in the center of your bee.
Can they staple it if the teacher wants to?
I think tape would work better.
Okay.
It doesn't really stay in place with the staple.
Okay. So if they do staple it, maybe put some tape on it too, just to be on the safe side. Okay.
So you want to kind of tape it towards the edges of it, so not towards the center, but like 2 pieces of tape kind of on the edges, so that way it stays better. So
can you put it on me so you can show them what it looks like?
So after you're done,
I have my own bee puppet today. You just twist the pipe cleaners.
Twist the pipe cleaner, and then there is your bee wrist puppet.
Look at my bee. Thanks, Sathena. It's so pretty. Hey, I have a yummy for you. I put lots of honey on our croissant. We're gonna have a little bite. You guys get to try some honey today as well. Is it delicious or what?
It's so good.
It's so good? Oh, yummy. Hey guys, We're so glad you went to the bee farm with us today. We hope you enjoyed visiting Mike and Amy's farm and the restaurant. And we hope you enjoy your honey sticks today. And that
one tip would be maybe cut them over a trash can so you don't get honey everywhere
Oh, okay, yeah.
on the table.
That's maybe a good
I
idea.
found that out the other day.
The hard way, huh? Anyway, guys, thanks so much. We loved doing this presentation for you and visiting the farm. If you ate today, especially maybe if you ate some honey, make sure you thank a farmer. God bless America, and we'll see you next time on Ag in the Classroom. Yeah, that's what they do.
Excuse me. What you doing, Stephanie?
Well, I wanted to look at the bee. Okay.
It's a work.
I can do it. I can do it. Thanks.
Must work for your honey.
Okay, I will. Okay, so I thought what we would do is I'll cut the crescents and we'll
Crescents.
croissants. Croissants. We'll cut the croissants and we'll put some honey on it. I can't get this. Oh, shoot!
You got honey everywhere.
Only on you.
Oh my gosh.
It's delicious.
I mean, the table's clean.
Right? The table's clean. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Stephanie, you got honey in my hair.
I'm so sorry. It really is in your hair. I'm sorry. Look at with your tongue later. What are you? Sathena, what are you doing? Don't lick it off the paper.
I'm cleaning up the honey. You're the one that spilled it.
You just dripped it all
I
over
know.
your pants.
You already put it in my hair.
Hey, let's head upstairs and we'll take some. Shove it in your mouth, Sathena. Shove
did.
the whole thing in your mouth.
I did. I can't be chewing it.
Come on, let's go.
Slow down.
There you go. There's a star too.
A star?
They're honey.
Oh.
Yeah, they're honey.
Oh.
There's people here.
You're cameraing me?
Cammering you?
You're
It's called
recording.
filming.
Filming. Recording.
Hello. It's a honey cookie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You want one? Yeah.
Those are the best. Oh. Hi.
Oh my gosh, what a ridiculous person.